New York based, Boys Town. When did you learn that the East Coast wasn't your calling and you had to move west?
Well,
Shortly thereafter, right?
the next band was Coward after
Okay.
Boys Town. So the next, and that was kind of, for me, that was the big moment in my life. Was like 1996 was that band.
That was a really good year. That was a really, really good year. I remember 1990.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, for me, it was a huge year as well. I got to join Alice Cooper that year.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, that was the year, man. Summer of '96, man. Started as
Very
a 1 year
cool.
tour, and I'm still riding the coattails. And so, Coward, honestly, folks, if you haven't heard it, if you haven't checked it out, go after this podcast, obviously, and after you vote, and after you spend 18 hours down the CNN Fox News rabbit hole. Go pull yourself out and go check out Coward, because there are so many good songs on that record. And I'm a huge fan of Coward, because I remember back in the day, the drummer of Dad's Porno Mag, Mike Fasano, who we've had on the show as well, he would hype you guys up so much because he was working with legendary producer Jerry Finn. So 1996, Los Angeles, another snowstorm, I am sure, in certain places. How did the whole band come together? How did that opportunity come up for you?
So that was in New York. I was in I think a cover band at the time, and
so Coward started in New York.
Oh, it's a New York band. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Because you have these West Coast guys with Jerry Finn. I'm just thinking, okay, you eventually went out to California and had it, but no, East Coast band going to get the California sound.
What happened was so Shep was the lead singer, and he used to come see me play in another band I was in. So make a long story short, one day at Sam Ash Music Store, he was
on
just
48th Street.
No, in Long Island.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah.
Not even 48. So Shep came all the way out to the island to check you out, or was Shep from the island as well?
Yeah, he was living on the island, and just two guys just shopping for music things unrelated. I didn't really know him. I knew him because he had a very cool look and whatever. But he comes up to me and gives me a tape, and then starts to explain that he has this big manager, and he goes to Manhattan, and they manage Hall & Oates, and he he would love me to write with him and be in a band with him. And I'm like thinking, no way, this can't be anything, right? So I took the tape, listened to it, and I was like, whoa, this guy's cool. Yeah, that ain't it. What? Easy with the pictures. Easy with the
pictures. Easy with the pictures. It's a different band, my friend. We're talking Coward. Now we've moved on, Vic.
Yeah.
We've moved on.
So anyway, one thing leads to another, and I love the sound of his voice, and I loved his energy. So got together with him, and everything he was saying was total truth. And literally, we started writing songs. Literally, and this never happens, as you'll attest to, in about 8 months, we writing songs, put a band together, got the big lawyer, got the big manager. We had a bidding war going on in like 8 months. When does that happen?
It happens once, I think, in your career, and then you just gotta embrace it and go along for the ride. Because honestly, it's only happened once in my entire time with being associated with someone. That was with Tal Bachman. But you must have been feeling that because now I'm looking at some of the information that you were recording in all these amazing like studios, Bearsville, you got to record in, and then you also, of course, then you went to LA and recorded it at Conway and stuff. But how did the whole Jerry Finn connection come along?
So we signed such a big deal. Like, as you know, when you sign a big record deal, first of all, you eat a lot of dinners.
Oh yeah, you order appetizers. You learn how to order appetizers.
Appetizers, like even if you don't want it, right?
You gain weight, basically, Phil.
Right. You go to, what's that Japanese place
on the top
where they cut the stuff in front of you?
Sushi.
No, they cut the meat.
But Benihana's?
Oh, yeah, Benihana. Yeah, Benihana.
Oh, you're talking about the one in the city? You're talking about Benihana's in the city? Oh my God, that's so old school, dude. I love that. The only
Let's go to Benihana's.
Dude, the only way I could ever get into a Benihana's in New York is if I was very, very lucky enough for a exotic dancer to take me there. Honestly,
Exactly.
and honestly, I owe exotic dancers my whole, pretty much 98% of my existence in New
It's
York.
so
Thank you
funny.
very much to this day.
Yeah. So
And
so it was that kind of surroundings where they're just it was Electra Records, so they're just throwing money at us. So eventually we have the discussion: who do you want to produce the record? You know, doesn't matter how much money, doesn't matter who it is. So we had like a wish list. So Green Day was just blowing up, had just blown up, and we loved the sound of Green Day's sonically. We loved the
was
sound of
that
the
the Duke? Was
drums.
that Dookie or
Dookie, yeah.
yeah,
It
and,
was
and Finn and Jerry Finn
and
mixed that.
Stack. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So Jerry Finn. So our choices were Jerry Finn, Rick Ocasek, because
Oh, from the Cars.
yeah, the whole band, the whole Coward, like what we wanted, what we were shooting to do was a cross between the Cars and Cheap Trick. That was our thing. Like Roger Manning played those keyboards, like those analog keyboards, and
So
it was
Roger Manning played him on the album.
Cliche, yeah.
Oh, dude, folks, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, you want a nugget, Roger Manning, who now currently plays with Eric Dover, but Roger Manning from the band Jellyfish, who grew up in Pleasanton, California, the same town I grew up in, went to rival high schools. I went to Foothill, he went to Amador, but yeah, there it is.
Nugget alert.
I love this because there's so many degrees of there's
a lot of tie-ins,
only so many degrees of separation before you go, oh wait, we slept on the same couch at one point. Yeah, pretty much.
So we ended up with there was another producer, I forget, another big guy. Gil Norton. Gil Norton was the other guy. So nice. It was down to those three guys, and then Jerry was in LA, we were in New York, so Jerry flew to New York to meet us and hear us at rehearsal, and we just got along like instantly, and we loved Jerry. So we picked Jerry. So we did the basics in New York at Bearsville and other studios. Then we went to mix in Conway in LA, and that was the LA connection. The band came out, and it was like one of your stories before, which there's been a million stories like that, but they had just signed Third Eye Blind, same exact time, and they killed us on radio. So yeah. when that happens, as you just said before, only room for one. So Third Eye Blind
gave you the hug of death on Electra.
Killed us.
Greenberg gave you the hug of death on Atlantic, and then the hug of death comes from Third Eye Blind. Damn. But
yeah, you know what? That was a tough one, man.
Folks, you have homework. For those of you that just popped in, we are talking with Joey Sykes, singer, songwriter, producer. We're getting into all of it. We're going back a little bit in his history right now just to talk about things. You have homework, though. You need to go check out the song Cliche. One of the best pop songs. I mean, I actually shaved today. Maybe the reason why I'm glowing and the reason why I smell nice today is because I showered to the song Cliche today. And folks, I do recommend that. What a great song, dude. What a great power pop, but has all, I actually got so excited about the song. I texted it to my other buddy, Johan, and I said, dude, you got to check this out. This is the stuff that you kind of like. And he goes, dude, it's perfect. It's like power pop. It's like Green Day, and he didn't have no idea that Jerry produced it all. He goes, "It's Green Day, but it meets like those power pop bands like Fountains of Wayne, and it's a perfect combination. How come I never heard about this band?" And I'll go, "Well, because they got the hug of death from Third Eye Blind."
Well, if you showered to Cliche, you probably missed some spots because it's like a 3-minute song.
Hey, I never been one to take long showers. so we move on.
Yeah, so it's getting to the LA part of it. So one of the best things to come out of Coward involves our boy Tommy. So we were mixing the record in LA, and I'm at what's that fancy mall? Third Street.
Third Street Promenade.
No, the one La Cienega. Beverly Center.
Well, Beverly Center.
So
See,
Beverly Center.
folks, I feel like at this point I'm like that guy in Spinal Tap where says, "Don't look for it anymore; it's not there." Because I don't think Benny Hanna's is even in New York anymore. I don't think it's probably been closed for years, probably because of rat infestation. There you go.
Where are we?
Lafon, our producer, again comes through with the shot on Benny Hanna's, which is not there, folks.
Later on, we'll put out a checklist of the an X checklist. You know, don't go there. Not
not there anymore.
Not
but
relevant.
The Beverly Center, I believe, is still there. So you're hanging out at the Beverly Center. What happens?
So the band is clothes shopping, right? So we're on
Somebody
a high
else's money.
Yeah,
not your money.
We're on a high horse, right? We're like spending the label's money. The band is together like a young band, like rock and roll. Yeah, rock, buddy. Hugs and being idiots, right? So I get this guy walking towards me, or like either walking towards me or like the pat, the poke on the back. He goes, "Yo, Sykes," and I literally I had to like go backwards to look forwards. I go, like I wanted to say, "Do I know you?" It was that bad. I was like, "Oh fuck." He goes, "Sykes, Henriksen." Because the last time I saw Tommy, because we kind of like he had
probably
really
had
long hair,
really long hair, and when he moved to LA, he cuts it all off and it gets all punk rock. Okay,
and I missed it. I missed the haircut because it was years. There was no cell phone, whatever, and I just missed that era. So I literally had to take a double take for this guy that I'm really close with, in the old days, but we just kind of fell out. So reconnecting with Tommy was like so special because we just basically like, took up whatever, and then we got to, re-know each other and hung out that trip. He came to the studio. He was playing me all the things he was doing, and it was just like, man, instant, man, so good, so great to see you, brother, and then so fast forward.
Went from him as being sort of the bassist of Warlock with this really long curly hair. Because folks, I don't know, Vic, do you have a shot of Tommy up there in Warlock? No, you don't have that. So the thing is, he goes from there to like basically 30-year-old Peter Gabriel, Tommy Henriksen.
Exactly.
Is that what it was? Right.
So in that time when we kind of got together again, we became close again, calling, whatever, and in that time that Coward was kind of didn't happen. We toured with Third Eye Blind and did some cool stuff, but it really didn't happen. It was right at that time.
That's not bad. You got to go on tour with Third Eye Blind.
That was amazing.
Maybe it was like keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So they're like, yeah, go ahead, Coward, come on tour with us. We're still gonna hold you back from our label.
No, they roll up in the bus, one single like Semi-Charmed Life, and we're dragging the van trailer, that dance,
Dude, that was Danger Danger and Electric Angels. Danger had the Prevost bus or whatever at that point was the bus du jour, and we had the old Chevy van with a U-Haul
trailer
right in back of it.
Yeah. So
that was the caravan.
So when that ended, that whole thing from getting signed, putting out a record deal, signing a publishing deal, touring, we were on MTV, that whole thing lasted maybe 2 years, like a year and a half, that whole beginning to end. And so right at that time, Tommy gets a record deal on Capitol. So he calls me and says, "Sykes, come out and do this with me, man. Like, be my guitar player and musical director, So I literally, the band was the Coward was a little bit like, what are we going to do? We were in the middle of making another record. So I just said, you know what, man, I believe in Tommy. I'm done. So loaded up, my Jeep, drove across the country, play with Tommy.
I love it. I love it. And had he already made the record? So he was looking for his touring man, or did he? Okay, cool.
Yeah, the record was done. Yeah,
the record was done. You arrive in Los Angeles. Where's the first place you go? Don't tell me you went to the Beverly Center again.
Probably Paquito Mas. I'm addicted to Paquito Mas.
Are you? Man, you know what? That's how we've hung out a couple Paquito Mosses before. The one in Burbank.
Yeah.
You covered my Paquito Moss last time we were hanging out.
With Al.
When we were on tour. Yeah. I got your next Paquito Moss. There's one in the Valley as well. Folks, we're talking about places. Paquito Moss is kind of like the Baja Fresh, but lo-fi.
Wait, lo-fi?
No, like Baja Fresh is kind of, or Chipotle. Isn't Chipotle owned by McDonald's? So like that's kind of like the mainstream sort of like nice.
I have a different view of Paquito Moss.
Really? Okay. So this is how the echelon goes for me. Paquito Moss is up here, right? Before you go into just regular amazing Mexican restaurants like El Compadre or something like that.
That's fair enough.
So you got Paquito Moss, which is a chain. Then you got Baja Fresh a little bit lower. And then below that, you got Taco Bell, which is for the common folks, which I trust me, I grew up on Taco Bell. You know, I really did.
Fair enough.
So isn't that a nice hierarchy? And Paquito Moss is kind of somewhere in that upper echelon.
Yeah, because they use like the fresh chicken and they grill it right in front of you, and it's really good chickens, good white meat and all, and the beef is nice. It's not chewy. So I would say that it's just a good experience. All these ads.
That's our soundbite for the whole fucking podcast. We just got it, Vic. We can just cut shop right now. We just got Joey Sykes, fucking, giving the old endorsement for Paquito Moss. I love it. No, see, folks, this is the type of information you learn on In the Trenches. Those nuggets of information that you want, plus the stories of every once in a while. We got stories about Tommy Henriksen. So he's on Capitol. You guys go on tour. I actually talked to him yesterday. Tommy said, "Well, hey, talk to Joey. Ask him about the road. He's a funny guy on the road. He's a funny guy to be with on the road." So what's so funny about you on the road?
Nothing. That stuff that's for the book or whatever, man.
All right. Wrong number. I got you. I got you.
Go there.
But it is the 90s. It's the late 90s.
Just being idiots, your basic being idiots. That's all. I mean,
having fun. What was it with Tommy? Was it club touring or was it? What did you guys get to open up for some large acts as well?
Yeah, Tommy had a song called "I See the Sun," and that was in the movie Blast from the Past, and that was an amazing song. And everyone, and there's a song in there. So we did like a lot of radio tours. We did a show for me. I mean, I'm sure you guys probably beat it by now, but for me, with Tommy, was the most people I've ever played for. I believe it was like an outdoor show. It was like one of those things where there's like 10 bands, like in Wisconsin or something. I forgot where it was, and it was about 70,000 people. And NSYNC was the headline. It was just crazy. It was a radio show, so. There was so many people that I couldn't see where the people ended. That's like basically look out into a field, and I didn't see where the hell the people ended. So that was. But we did a lot of those. Was it in
Milwaukee? Or was it like Milwaukee Fest or one of those things?
Something like that. Yeah.
Because those are big shows because they have a concert that goes on for like a month. And they have every band, and it could be one day it could be Garth Brooks, and the next day it could be Motley Crue, or next day it could be Marilyn Manson, and the next day it could be NSYNC, like you said. So
that's what it was like.
Cool. Yeah. So who was the Tommy Henriksen sort of like hug of death? Like who was the band that because you're touring with? Who was it that sort of was on the same label at the same time?
Yeah, there was a couple of moments where like me and Tommy would go do radio shows. It's just me and Tommy and two acoustic guitars, and we would fly into a city, and they would take us for 2 days around to radio stations.
Right.
So there was this one time I'm in the front seat. This girl or woman, I don't know, maybe in her 20s, was driving, and Tommy was in the back, and she's literally on the phone trying to get people to play somebody else. I forgot the guy's name.
Was it Ricky? The guy from England.
Yeah, not Ricky Martin, but like him.
Yeah. Okay. In the chat, you got to think about it. Biggest pop guy, friends with Oasis, or sort of like the sycophant of. He was in that boy.
Oasis. He was in a really famous boy band in England.
Vic, do you have a picture of him? Does anybody in the chat know who it is? Because honestly, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know it's not Ricky Martin, but it has a lot of it.
Yeah.
So that was
Anyway,
basically
so I'm
Tommy
yelling at
Henriksen's kiss
well,
and hug of death.
because we were trying to get the song played on radio. We were out there on the road in the middle of nowhere, like taking time away and really working hard to do these things and talking to people. And I'm like yelling with her. I'm like, you know, like she gets off the phone. Oh, please play, blah, blah, blah. No.
Was it Rick Astley?
No,
it was
no,
that song. He had a song called "Let Me Entertain You." Let me entertain you. Come on, folks. You're
Robby something.
Robby Williams.
Robby Williams.
Robby Williams. Fuck Tommy. There you go. There's your soundbite.
Little road thing. Because I'm like, why do you know Tommy's right behind you, and I'm out here with him, and we're trying to get the song played, and shouldn't you be on the phone doing what you just did for Tommy? Yeah. I mean, like, you know, it's like not cool. Like, you know, it was like, I wasn't like, you fucking blah, blah, blah. I was just like, you know, it's really not cool, you know, so, you know, whatever. Stuff like that.
Let's just say that Robby Millar held back Tommy Henriksen's career.
Robby Williams. Robby Williams.
Oh, sorry. Robby. Oh, okay. Robby Millar's a friend of the show. Hello, folks. Roxie here. Thanks for watching the video. And if you liked it, hit the subscribe button or one of the videos around me to watch more. If you'd like to, please leave a comment. If you didn't like the video, maybe you'll forget how to type.